Welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Mindset Podcast, series number 3. I'm your host, Kristian Livolsi, and I'm incredibly excited to welcome our guest, my friend and business partner, Adrian Lee, on the show today. Adrian, welcome.
Kristian, I'm super excited to be here. And I just want to say, I've actually sat in your seat before. Hilarious, isn't it?
Like, stood in my seat?
I've actually sat in it. I've stood in it though.
Right. Yes.
You're a beast.
That's right. I think standing in my seat, I reckon you've sat in my chair. But look, it's really good to see you. I mean, obviously we talk a lot, but Thank you for joining me and all of our wonderful audience. Why don't we dive straight into it, right? Because we've had a little off-air conversation, but I think let's give our listeners some insight and value. Adrian, why don't you tell us a little bit about you from the perspective of where you've come from and where you are today?
So, great question, Kristian. I'm a country boy from Shepparton, Victoria. So I grew up in the country, and I decided when I was about 24. So I'm 39 this year. Crazy.
Wow.
So 24, decided to move to the big country from the country Shepparton to Melbourne to reboot my life of success and really find myself, because there wasn't very much opportunity in Shepparton, and I've always been quite outgoing, working in hospitality, being an in-person personal trainer, doing a few jobs, you know what I mean? So like in-person personal training, hospitality, love that, construction, building, like those types of jobs. And I was really trying to find myself. But the one thing that really stuck was the fitness. And so I moved to Melbourne, got into, redid my certification again at Fitness First in QV, which is in the city of Melbourne. And then I was just like, I want to get more into this. So I was then doing in-person personal training. And then I was doing some hospitality work. And then I got into construction. So it kind of all mixed together. So I was doing everything at once. And long story short is I'd been in Melbourne for about 5 years and my dad passed away. And that was the turning point for me. I think it really shifted something inside of me that I wanted to start finding my purpose, figuring out what was actually the work that I was put on this earth to do. I believe that we're here to serve, right? Like you're a big fan of that, like serving, and living the purpose is the work. It's doing the work, because that's what helps you be more fulfilled in life. Anyway, so when Dad passed away, I went through all the motions and I decided, you know what? I'm just going to quit my job. I was going to quit my job and go out and use the connections that I had in the construction industry and go and connect with people on LinkedIn and start doing some in-person group training for corporates. So I did that and I found my way. During that time, I learned a lot about business, and I spent about a year doing that. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to go back to work. So I went back to work because I ran out of money, right?
Yeah.
But I also had long service leave that I was almost ready to collect. So I went back to work and hired 2 coaches. One of them was Craig Ballantyne. The other one was Chris Dufay. And they both helped me understand the big world of digital marketing and how to build a business online. So in literally 6 months, I went back out. So I got to work, built an online program, focused on one platform, LinkedIn, and then built out the strategy from there. So basically, I quit my full-time job in the construction industry, started in online fitness, built out a system that builds authority, credibility, and generates leads without paid ads, by the way. Just thought I'd add that little bit in there.
Yeah.
And other people started to see what I was doing. So they were like, what are you up to with this LinkedIn? Looks like you're doing some stuff, doing well or whatever. And then people started to come to us for coaching consulting. So that's how it evolved over time. So I built my first business, which was Leeway Fitness, to 6 figures, and then used that to start a family, right? So my wife, who was a school teacher, didn't have to work, so that we could have a family with our little boy, Charlie, who's 2 now. And then I could evolve from there. So that was where the journey started. And then during that journey, you and I started working together. And then out of necessity, we built out an outsourcing company called Growth Outsourced. And that's how the journey evolved as an entrepreneur. And now, we've built I've built a great partnership with one of our clients, Holly Smith. And now I'm a partner in BizFit, her business as well. And I'm still, you won't take the fitness out of Adrian.
We're trying.
Always got to be flexing.
Boom. Yeah, always flexing. Let's put those guns away.
But that's the entrepreneur journey, and it's been probably more lows than highs.
Yeah, look, Adrian, it's really interesting because I think you've cut out about 80% of the whole story in that, because it's a very long journey. I mean, it's 15 years, right? And I know for a fact that your dad passing away at 29 left a very big hole in your life, and you still support and help your mum today. So it's not just about Elle and Charlie. And by the way, Charlie's absolutely gorgeous, blondie, and he's got these beautiful eyes. So I know that you're building a future for your family, and yes, Adrian and I actually engaged Adrian to teach me the dark arts of LinkedIn, and from there we became good mates and decided that I would be coaching him on his business and advising him on his growth, and that's called Growth Link. And then we, by absolute necessity, found that it was time for us to start a significantly large outsourcing business that is growing 20% month on month. And the reason that growth is so phenomenal, Adrian, is because you really have built a system that is second to none in terms of building authority and driving leads for not only the Growth Link customers, but also the Growth Outsource customers. So I think let's not be overly humble in your explanation. But you also had built a very successful online fitness business. I mean, one of your videos, we were only just doing an audit of your account. One of your videos, which is one of your favorite videos of you at Anytime Fitness or somewhere, doing some bench pressing exercise. What did it get? 127,000 views the other day on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
For shits and giggles. That's kind of, you still put it out there. So I think, let's not undervalue what you do. But let me ask you another question. What's the biggest challenge that you're facing in your business right now, and how are you tackling it?
Dude, that is an epic question.
Yes.
It is leveraging Adrian Lee.
Mm-hmm.
It's being able to step out of Growth Link, focus more on growing the business and scaling it, but also hiring the right people that we already know, love, and trust, that are already in our ecosystem. So that's probably the biggest challenge right now, and it's something that you and I are working on together.
Yeah.
And I just want to highlight something that when you work with people, really good mentors, really good,
who are you talking about?
So when I say really good, you know how you find a gem, right? And they're not just a gem at what they do, as in the skills and the mindset that they have to be able to look at your business. There's something that really comes to mind for me right now, and is that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right?
Yeah, it's a really good way of putting it.
So here's the thing. you are someone who absolutely cares about people.
I
But
do,
also,
yeah. This is not about telling people how good I am.
No, but seriously, but they need to hear this.
Yeah.
Because, dude, you've had the highs and highs of business and the lows and lows. And you've had and sold multiple businesses. Right? So
a few more than multiple, actually, but yes. And I've also lost a few in the pipeline. But yeah, no, I appreciate what you're saying.
But the point is that you genuinely care and you are really freaking amazing at what you do.
Thank you. You're making me blush.
No, but serious. And there's no scripts here. This is in the moment.
Yeah, you actually have caught me by surprise. Dude, I'm not one for compliments, so thanks very much for doing it on my podcast.
No, but people need to hear, because I've worked with you for a period of time now.
Yes.
You are one smart cookie that gives 2 F's about people.
I think, you know what, I will accept that compliment. What you have summed up, I actually love what I do, right? And I don't know if there's a genius there. It's nice hearing it, but I love what I do, and more importantly, I love doing it for people that love what I do. And that's what makes my relationship with you and all my clients so enjoyable, because I get given that opportunity to live vicariously in a business that I wouldn't otherwise run or own. And I do care. I care a lot. I treat your money like it's mine. And more importantly, I probably treat it better because I'm more risk averse with your money.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate you saying that, Adrian, and particularly, surprising me on the podcast. And anyone that's watching the YouTube trailer or whatever it might be, I was actually blushing. I don't take compliments very well because I don't really have a job. I love what I do, and I know that for Adrian, it's been awesome for you. We've done an incredible amount of pivoting to position your business now where it is, but at the same time, as we were discussing in our coaching call yesterday, or our advisory call yesterday, one of the biggest things that we've done with you also affects our clients everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think winning is about a win-win. That's what you hear me talk about a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm really most proud about. And you're right. It's nice to hear someone say, I really care. And because I know what it's like to be alone. I know what it's like to lose. And more importantly, I also know what it's like to get shit advice. So I do my very best for you and the others. And I love it. I love it. As I said, I've got the best job in the world that's not a job. So tell me though, how are we tackling, or how are you tackling the challenge of leveraging, Adrian Lee? You touched on Holly. Holly's been on the podcast too, on this series. She's a superwoman, 22 years old, running, an exceptionally good business, about to launch her book, 30 Days to Happiness. I mean, we're both so proud of her, right? She's our youngest too, right? Yeah, she's definitely my youngest client. And it was someone that had worked with you in the past. And you said to me, Kristian, I know this is beneath your pay grade, I think you said to me, but you really need to look and do something. And it was the best decision I made. She's been one of those amazing people that you love working with. She puts in so much effort, and it's been amazing. So you brought on Holly in your team because you're growing. You're about to bring someone else in your team. You built an accelerator program for our outsource business. But how are you really leveraging Adrian Lee in this growth phase that you're having? I think that's really important.
Yeah. So I think right now it is one thing that you've taught me is that without liking it in myself, I can try and please everyone. And when you try and please everyone, you please no one.
Yeah.
And you've really helped me to value myself.
Are you on LinkedIn at the moment?
No, what?
Did you hear that beeping noise?
Oh, no, that's Discord.
Turn it off. Right. Focus, remember? 100% focus. You and your mastermind group. I love it. It's like you go nuts.
There you go. It's off.
Otherwise, I could just imagine it was just and everyone will be thinking the podcast is ending. No, we've just started. Right? Back to it. So in terms of leveraging you.
It's leveraging me, and it's like any business owner goes through. It is, can the other person do the work better than I can? Mm-hmm. And their answer is yes, they can. Because once you can get over your own, like, I guess, anchors and blocks that hold you back, and you start systemizing things, and you value yourself, which means that just recently, you've told me this a million times.
I'm scared of what you're going to say.
Adrian, dude, who does your eyebrows for you?
I say that to you all the time.
No, but seriously, dude, you're too cheap. The words you use, you're too cheap. You need to put your price up.
Yeah, you're right.
Here's the smart thing.
You're too cheap bloody now. I'll tell you that all the time.
Here's the thing. You gave me, you advised me to make shifts in my model, and I did. So this was, over 6 months ago? I did. Then you advised me to do it again, and I did it. And now just recently you advised me to do it again, and I did it. And I've had 3 sales calls with 2 closes in a day with the new model, with the new pricing model. And here's the kicker, is it was easy.
Simple
because of the belief that you inspired me to look within to bring to the world. And now I really value what I do.
Mate, you are one of the best people in the world at what you do. I mean, let's not undervalue the fact that you have clients in 4 or 5 countries at the moment, right? And they're all getting incredible results. Maybe we should actually just, people are probably thinking, what on earth does this guy do? So why don't we just talk a little bit about GrowthLink primarily, which is your business. Why don't you tell people a little bit about what you actually do? I know you've touched on it. It's authority building and lead generation on LinkedIn, but I think you also touched on the fact that it's using 0 advertising. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's another one of your things going off.
That's not me.
That has to be you, because I'm on D&D.
I don't have anything on, no social medias.
Right. Right. I'm always teaching Adrian to stay focused. And at the moment, so far, he's doing all right. Normally, he's already itching to go and do stuff, right? We've only seen 1 muscle flex for now. And I think we could keep it at that. It's G-rated. So Adrian, tell us a little bit about the GrowthLink model. What do you actually do? And who do you do it for?
All right. So the results that a lot of our clients come, so a lot of our clients are coaches and consultants, like thought leaders. We get a lot of people looking to transition their careers from maybe full-time work, like I did in the beginning, and build like a side hustle or an online business, right? So we get those types of people. Could be like, for example, CEOs that are wanting to build their brand and their personal profile on LinkedIn to get more exposure. What we're finding is a lot of CEOs are out in there, going to events, and that's their business card. Are you on LinkedIn? Yeah. Oh, great. We'll connect. That's what they're using as their business card. And I'm not talking like small business. I'm talking like big business.
Yeah.
Like that is your online card. Do you have a LinkedIn profile? Right. Oh, don't go to my LinkedIn profile. It looks horrendous. It's like, so that's what we're doing. We're helping business owners, coaches, consultants, CEOs build their personal brand on LinkedIn. And for the right people that are wanting to grow their business, we teach them our LinkedIn proprietary blend, which is blend strategy.
Sounds like a coffee.
It does actually. I did have a coffee before.
Right now, I'm thinking, hey, Tracy, wherever you are, if you can hear me, bring me a coffee.
Yeah. So
for me, of course. But
I think the biggest thing here is that we're teaching people how to build a business and use LinkedIn as a platform to do so. Right. So it's all the other things. It is one, it's optimizing their profile. It's creating high value, shareable content that gets people to know, love, and trust you. Then you're having a conversation with people every day. And then you're nurturing people through your content and through your email. And then you're using other platforms to omni-channel or multi-channel the exposure that you have. But you keep the main thing, which is LinkedIn is an amazing platform. It's going through a golden age algorithm, which simply means that you can post content consistently if you know what types of content to post to get massive exposure on the platform, and then use you, right? The brand of you, the human that people do business with, and then they do business with the company, right? So you're building your personal brand and people getting to know you. And then you're indoctrinating people into how you do business and how you think and what your marketing messages are. And then you're educating them.
Right. And I think what's really cool for people to understand is that both Adrian and I and hundreds of other customers are using this one platform to generate almost 80% of our income. In my case, it's almost 100%. But it's formidable. It's amazing. I mean, Adrian, just for our audience, how many followers have you got on LinkedIn?
Followers, almost 40,000.
Yeah, there you go. And you're averaging how many views a week?
Views per week.
And these are real people views, like not some vanity metric of just engagement. This is pure just individual people visiting Adrian's content and profiles.
Average views per week is about 50,000.
No, what do you mean?
As in average, like some posts go like mega viral, like 120, 130. You've got others that are like the 20s, but the average, most posts go between like 10 and 20,000. So maybe a bit more, maybe up towards the 70 or 80.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when we did the audit, you're closer to 85 to 100,000.
And
because I'm 65, 70,000.
Yeah. And I just want to make this super clear for your audience, Kristian, is that those metrics are great, but what we care about, or what I care about as a business owner, is how many leads am I getting every day and how many clients am I getting every week?
Correct.
Right? That's it. Yeah. How many leads daily, and we're tracking it, how many qualified people and people that we're working with on a weekly and a monthly basis. So yes, the content has its place that does the heavy lifting, and the views and the comments and all that have their place because they're building credibility. They're building trust in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. And some people just like the views. How do I get more followers? And it's like, okay, great. But how can we do everything together?
Yeah. Well, I think yes, the system is, understanding your niche market, understanding who you want to be connected to, building meaningful relationships. The wonderful thing, and for the benefit of everyone, the reason why I really decided that I needed Adrian to be my business partner in where we were heading was because we both have two very good views on things, and they are slightly different. And you just heard it here on the podcast today. I'm all about brand and equity. Okay. Adrian is all about that lead gen side. And so when we bring those two together, it's created this incredible harmony for our clients, because we've got, as you said, there are some amazing, there's a couple of people that run billion-dollar companies on our portfolio, and, they're in it purely for brand. They already have plenty of lead flow, but they want to finally stretch out. There are other clients who run, $4 or $5 million businesses who also just want to build their authority because they're publishing books or doing other things. And then there is even the smaller client, the barely, 5-figure a month or even 4-figure a month client, just starting out, $3,000-$4,000 a month business, who then says, no, I really need more leads. And they've got a low ticket and they can come in and sell that, or even a high ticket. So it is an amazing system. Now, what I want to do is I want to move away from that for a second. If what would I ask you, right, that I don't know enough to ask?
Oh,
I know a lot, so this is going to be a tough one for you. So what should I ask you that I don't know enough to ask?
Dude, that is an epic question.
I stole that from another podcast. I don't remember which one, but I love the question because everyone had the same look on your face that you do. It was like, oh shit, how do I answer that question?
What was life like growing up as a fat country boy?
Okay, so what was life like growing up as a fat chubba over in Shep? Well, would have been pretty good, actually.
It was actually pretty good. So growing up with older parents, one, having, I guess, stories from mum and dad's side that kind of haunted me for a lot of years. So for me, obviously, when I was younger, I was quite overweight. I didn't do very well at school. I couldn't think clearly. I was like quite depressed, to be honest. And it was when I look back at it today, I look at all the habits that I had in my life that really held me back. Like the food that I was eating, the exercise that I was doing or I wasn't doing, my habits of going out, all the time drinking and, taking drugs and things like that. So really,
drugs?
Huh?
You took drugs?
Yeah, there you go. There's something.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, like marijuana.
I am disgusted, Adrian.
With my friends. Yeah.
wait. Now you're telling me you even had friends?
Oh yeah, of course. But yeah, I always wanted to be liked, right, growing up. And
hang on, man. What do you mean? What do you mean? That hasn't changed. You still want to be liked?
Yeah, but a bit different now because I'm happy with the person I am.
Yes.
But like, I think the early stages of growing up with a mum who was suicidal almost every week, watching her, try and like speaking to a young kid, like a kid, 14, 15, 16, like her trying to ask me whether, should I continue life on an ongoing basis. So, and then my dad who lost his wife and his son in a car accident and watching him drink in the early days and come home drunk. Cops pull up in the driveway because he was drink driving. Him trying to deal with the story that evolved in his real life and then passing that on like to me and watching, him coming home, yelling and carrying on and drinking and smoking and all sorts of stuff, And then for me, the one thing that really, I guess, shifted how I looked at my life and where it was going was that Dad had a really good work ethic. And no matter what he did the night before, he would always get up and he would be so happy to go and build a home for someone.
Yeah.
He had a great work ethic. That work ethic, he conditioned into me. So growing up, since I was 16, 17, I've always had work to pay my way. If I wanted something, I had to work for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's true. I never asked that question. I didn't realize that you'd been through those kinds of difficulties.
Yeah.
But it's true. You have an exceptional work ethic. I mean, I still give you shit about your work ethic. But the thing is, you also, it explains why you're all about balance and also making sure that, you spend quality time with Elle and Charlie. On the recent trip to Adelaide, you brought the whole family with you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my family got COVID. So I got to see you on my first day out of jail, and then you were leaving. So, you are a big family man. And I think that the lesson there is that our trials and tribulations, our past, the things that we go through, the adversity, it sculpts us, it teaches us who we are. Yeah. And you've got an opportunity to be a victim or to be a victor.
Exactly.
Our one of our core values at Growth Outsource, when we sat down and did our strategic planning day, you remember it's a victor mentality. We do not employ victims, and we do not employ client. We don't even engage clients who have a victim mentality. You've got, and that's because our values, both of us, we are incredible workers. We will do the work, and we'll inspire our people to do the work. And I think that makes a big difference. Mate, that was very deep. What I want you to tell me now, because let's stay on the deep path. Tell me about a customer that touched your heart, and tell me about that customer and how they changed your business and your life. Well, you took it deep, so I'm taking it deeper.
All right. So.
No, all right.
So, okay. I think it all starts with the early days in when started getting into the coaching consulting on LinkedIn. And I looked to this person as called him, and I've told this person this before, and I'll mention his name on the podcast, is I called him like a veteran marketer.
Right.
Right. He just had a brand and a profile, and I thought, oh, this dude's like freaking way out of my league. Next minute, I'm speaking with him. And his name's Greg Gillies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right now, Greg Gillies is very much an action taker, right?
And we're going to have Greg on the podcast too, so that's great.
Yeah, and the reason why Greg he's apart from he's a cool cat and he's got a beautiful wife and kids.
Yeah, Tracy's awesome.
Is that he referred me to Kristian Livolsi? He
did. That's how we got to know. Because the irony of that is that Greg and I were working with a really, really top bloke over in the US. Both of us, two Aussies, the only two Aussies on their whole program, learning the wise arts of LinkedIn. And yeah, Greg. I actually engaged Greg to work with me. What's that? It's an evolved CEO is the program. Yeah. And I highly recommend it. I went through it. It was amazing. Sorry, back to your story.
Yeah. So, and I think this just highlights the power of your network, and that we can always be looking for. And I'm just going to slightly just go off a bit here, but I'll circle it back around very fast. Is that we can always be looking for the new and next best thing, or the next client, or the next lead, or whatever it is.
Hang on, stop. I got to pause you. Are you telling me that you've learned that the shiny new objects you're not to chase anymore?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Guys, just so you know, it took me 7 months of sweat and blood to emphasize to Adrian to stop chasing those shiny objects. And anyone listening, if you want to succeed, powerfully succeed, that's step one. Stay very focused. When you know what is working, stay focused and double down on it. Not for Adrian. For 7 months, this guy drove me nuts. I'm sorry. Now back to yours. Do you want to just repeat that again? Okay. I'm sitting here in shock.
So I drove Kristian nuts for about 7 months. And it was for good reason. I needed to experience that and go through that to be able to be where we're at now. But long story short is that through working with you and working with higher level people, we were speaking every week on our coaching coaching calls for LinkedIn, and I really got to know you. It feels actually quite weird to think about those days, actually, compared to what
it was
they're
a couple
like.
of years ago now, and it's like, wow. It's true when you put it like that. We used to sit there and just talk for hours. And I think I actually just had this, if I can interrupt, I had this brain wave just now, like this memory come back. One of the things that always fascinated you about working with me was that how carefree I was. Like I remember you saying to me all the time, you just don't want to make money. It's like, no, I've got plenty of that. It's more I want to understand who you are and what you do. And our roles were reversed, you know, like you were coaching me and teaching me your system. And at the same time, I can't help myself. So I was sitting there helping you refine your system. And that's how we built this incredible friendship, because we just learned to trust each other. And I agree, it's been rather amazing. So what are you trying to say is essentially that, you know, the customer that touched your heart was Greg Gillies, because Greg ended up introducing me to you. And I actually think it's true. I mean, if it wasn't for Greg, you and I wouldn't be talking today, and I certainly wouldn't have the extra success that I've had, because the system does work, and more importantly, I wouldn't have you as a friend in my life, and that means more to me, as you know, than any money that we can make. So, okay, I think that's amazing. So, how did that change your business, though?
How did it change my business?
Yeah.
Well, if we can just take back to what we're talking about with Greg and yourself.
Yeah.
It only takes one person to change your life. One person to help you think differently and have clarity and focus on what it is that you need to do daily and weekly, and then have that accountability from someone that you, as Craig Ballantyne would say, you deeply do not want to disappoint.
Yes.
Right? And I don't want to disappoint you.
Yes.
That's powerful. Like I've worked with people before, but that never stuck until I hit 39 years old, and we started really getting into, wow, like this is really starting to grow.
38, 37. Because you're 39 now.
Yeah, something like that. Nearly 39.
So when's your 39th birthday? It's now.
August 5.
Yeah. 5th of August, yeah?
Yeah.
Next year's a big party.
Yeah, 40.
Right, I think, didn't we say we're going to Vegas?
Correct.
Yeah. Elle and Lucy will both kill us. So that's okay. But okay, amazing. I love that. And I love how you just put that together. Let's find something that, you know, you might not be able to relate back to me. What's your biggest failure, and what did you learn from that experience?
My biggest failure was not managing money.
Okay, talk to us a bit more about that.
So I guess over the years, I didn't really understand money. I had a bad relationship with money. Money for me was always borrowed. So like getting loans and credit cards and things like that. I really didn't understand money. I just wasn't educated. And I came from a lack of money. Even though I worked to get things, there still was never enough money.
Goosebumps. I know.
Yeah.
This is a big deal for you. I know, so I'm not.
It's massive, dude.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And if you've gone from like not having enough money and your parents struggling for everything, and you know, you didn't really understand it, but you just wanted to make yourself feel better by having more money in the account that was borrowed. That was one of my biggest failures, was not understanding money.
I think for our audience benefit, Adrian's being incredibly vulnerable here. And maybe he'll go a little deeper. The consequence of your behavior and your decisions, and this was a while ago, so it's, you know, was it five, let's call it 5 years ago, right? Spending more than you were making, investing more in achieving more. Let's be real.
Yeah.
What were the consequences of that? Remember, you're on a podcast. You can't just sit there and have this horrified smile on your face. Only if you want to share. What were the consequences?
The consequences were that it affected my family life, my personal life. It was money just really held me back until I started educating myself to learn more about, taxes and BASs and profit and losses and things like that. That now that I understand what it is and we've put in place a solution for that not to happen again.
It's never going to happen to you again.
Yeah.
I can assure you, I give you my word. What we're doing now is limitless. But I think what I think you're trying to say, it was a very hard time for you. You essentially lost everything.
Yeah.
And you had to, and at the time you were there, you hadn't had Charlie yet, but it was holding you back from being able to do the things that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And even when we started working together, I think it was one of the first observations I made, didn't it? When you were coaching me, and I think I turned around and I said, you don't know how to manage money. Remember I said that to you? And
yes.
You were like, you're such a prick. Anyone that knows me, right, knows I cut straight to the bullshit.
Yeah.
You either love me or you hate me, and I'm cool with both, right? I can't be everyone's friend. I don't have enough time in my life. But one thing that I noticed, I thought Adrian was really special. And I saw this person who gives. And that's one of your weaknesses. You give too much. And we've worked on that. But one of the things that I did notice is that, you really struggled with understanding money. Yeah. Even like I pulled your figures apart while I was, you were my coach. I just said one day, what did I say to you? I said, Adrian, bear out your financials. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what? I'm like, I want to know how many clients you got. And I did the numbers, in 15 minutes. I'm like, dude, where's your money going? And you were trying to put a system in place at the time. This was years ago. And eventually, between right, your wife's super duper regime, you not only rebuilt yourself, but you ended up freeing yourself from that shackle. Yeah. I think that's really the story, because there's so many people listening that might be starting their own business, might be knees deep in le merde, in the poos, wondering how they're going to get out. Well, Adrian's a real success story in this area. He listened, he got good advice. I then told him to go and see his accountant, who's also one of his mates, and they put together a plan. I've been able to teach you about GST, about PAYG. These are things that people take for granted when they're starting businesses.
Yeah.
Especially sole traders. Now you're a company. There's all these things that are transpiring, but ultimately, this is all a development plan for you, right? Yeah. It's a journey, right? We always say to people, your life is not a destination. You're not born and then you die. It's all this other shit that happens in the middle. Yeah. And I think for you, that's really, you've lived you're living a journey. And I think that's really strong. But tell me, what was the one thing you learned from that experience? I mean, you've sort of touched on it, but what is the one thing? What is the one piece of advice you give to everyone listening to the show? And it can't be, get me. What is it?
Live within your means.
Yeah, but more so, now that you understand numbers, how much more empowered are you?
Yeah. Very well. I think we had this conversation the other day on the call. Yeah. Right now, I know, this may sound a bit like woo-woo or whatever, but one thing that I said to myself through the times of hardship and going through the challenges and pains, and this has been going on for probably 8 years now, but I used to say like a daily affirmation, right? I used to tell myself, even though my reality didn't align with what I was saying, I just continued to tell myself that every day and do the simple things. It's the simple things. It's the simple activities that you do daily that you become better at and you optimize, and then you grow and you leverage yourself. But it's Kristian, it's just literally a journey of evolving you.
Yep.
It is like that. The reason you have to go through something is because there's a better self, like Ed Milet says. There's a better self awaiting for you to go through that. And most people, like I remember when in the very, very, very first program I did with Chris, was he showed me the energy way. What was it? The performance curve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like most people get started and build momentum and then they fall off.
Yeah.
If they just continue to just keep pushing through those hard times, and mind you, they're not months, they're years.
It's also about making the right decisions along the way too.
Yeah.
There are people that push a wheelbarrow up a hill and don't deviate from the path, expecting that they're going to get to the top of the hill without exhaustion. Like sometimes the easiest path, the more efficient path is to go, from side to side up a hill, right? Especially with a heavy load. Right now, I know all about heavy loads because I'm a very heavy man, and going up a hill, right? If I go up full steam on a vertical like that, I'm wrecked. Whereas if I work a little bit longer, right, then you find a lot of gold along the way. And I think the problem with youth today is that everyone wants to have everything yesterday.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be in the 2 comma club, right? Sorry, Russell. But everyone wants to be in the 2 comma club within a week, right? It takes time. Getting your business to 5 figures is easy. Getting it to 6 a month, and that's hard work. And then getting it to 7 is rewarding. But then that comes with a whole bunch of different challenges.
Yeah.
So okay, awesome. If you could turn back the time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell them?
This is super easy. Take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. Absolutely everything. Take ownership. Don't blame anyone. It's all on you. And when you realize it's all on you, guess who you look at? If something goes wrong in your business, someone cuts you off, if your wife doesn't like you, if your friend hates you for whatever reason, or whatever it is in life, it's all on you.
Yeah.
You're not making the money you want? Cool. What are you going to do about it?
Outstanding. I like the way you put that. So what's the most important thing that you've learned in your life then? So, what was the most important thing that you've learned in your life?
The most important thing.
Mm.
You can't help others until you help yourself first.
Okay, that's amazing. That's excellent. And what was your life like before you learned that?
It was the opposite.
Okay, share that a little bit.
In other words, I would put helping others first out of my own time or out of my own wallet or whatever it is, right? I would sacrifice in order to help someone else. But at the end of the day, I wasn't helping from the right place.
Okay.
So for me, it was I was helping people for what I would get in return. Right. And not giving from genuine heart.
Yeah. Okay. So when you learnt that and you started giving abundantly from an open heart, what was life like after that?
I felt more fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt as though, if today was the last day, would I be happy with how my life is?
Yeah.
Regardless, money comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Money comes and goes.
Bad Boys forever.
Yeah, but also
I was watching Bad Boys the other day. It just made me laugh.
But money comes to me freely, abundantly. Like it comes and goes. And, for example, I think this is super important to share, Kristian, is that one of our team members for Growth Outsourced had a horrific accident with their family.
Yes.
We won't go into the details. But together, we all pitched in to help the person whilst they were taking time out to recover.
Financially, yeah.
Financially.
Yeah. And it's made a significant difference to her recovery and her family. So it's a beautiful story. But that was a company-wide initiative initiated by our people. They came to us only at the end when they'd already done it. And then we did what? We sat there and we said, sure, we'll match it. All of us went, me, you, their leadership team, but me and you in particular. We said, okay, whatever you've raised, we'll match it dollar for dollar. And I think that's a purpose-driven company. And that's really special. And I appreciate where you've come from in explaining that. That that's about learning to really serve.
Yeah.
And that I have a servant heart, and I love taking care of people. But you're right, Adrian. You've got to take care of yourself first, because if you're not in control, you can't help anyone else.
Yeah.
It's that analogy that when you get on an airplane, how could you put your mask on first before you put your mask of your child on in an emergency? But the reality of it is, you can't help your child if you've passed out.
Right.
Right. So, I remember as a kid, I flew so much. I kept thinking to myself, why do they say that? It's great for me as a child, but then as an adult, I'm like, how on earth am I not going to put the mask on my child? And then you wake up and you realize, mate, you got to help yourself before you can help others. All right, mate, we are almost out of time. So in the tradition of Series 3, we have the Fast 5 in 5. Are you ready?
Go.
Are you ready? You sure? I know this will make you nervous. No, won't it all? All right. There he is doing his warm-up session. Go. What makes you feel inspired, Adrian?
Kristian Livolsi.
Oh, stop it. What is the best compliment you have ever received?
I feel valued. Sorry, not I feel valued. I value the work that you do.
Yeah, awesome. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Motivating people to chase after their big goals and dreams.
Awesome. Best book recommendation?
Mm-hmm. Boss's book.
No, look, I know you're a big fan of my book, so that's okay.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay, great. Daniel Carnegie, good book. If you could have, and this is the last 5-5, if you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
One thing that comes to mind.
Everyone gets stumped on this question.
Yeah. Okay, it's got to be fast too. It's actually quite slow at the moment.
Yeah, it's remarkably slow by your standards.
Yeah.
I can assure you we haven't gone off air. He is just thinking. And
by
the way, I'm really proud of him. He's thinking.
It's actually quite funny because people look at me on coaching calls and like, hey, is the Zoom not working? I'm like, no, I'm just thinking.
If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
Most things in life. So actually, yeah, 99.99% of things in life simply do not matter. Focus on what does, because that's the key to a great life.
I like that. 99.9% of things really don't matter.
Yeah. And it can go into it, like the people that cut you off in traffic. Someone said that you weren't going to be anything in school. Blah, 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 blah. Like most things don't matter. Yeah. And when you realize there's things that you stress over and worry about, guess what? It doesn't matter. It's all going to be over soon. Think about that for a sec.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything has a purpose. And the key is a lot of people spend a lot of time worrying about irrelevant things that don't actually affect their life, really.
They don't improve it either.
No, that's right. Adrian, thank you. You shared your vulnerability. You shared your care. You almost turned my podcast into a testimonial. I thank you for your really kind words. But I really am grateful that you took the time to join us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate, having you on the show. So thank you. But more importantly, I want to actually also thank our listeners. We value you. And I know that there are hundreds and thousands of podcasts out there, and yet you've chosen to listen to this one. I know that Series 1 and Series 2 is trending in 7 countries at the moment. I got the Chartable list this morning, where some are in the top 100, some are just out. As some people know, I'm going to be heading to Ireland. I actually don't know when this podcast is going to air, but it's my podcast currently in Ireland's in the top 100. So in entrepreneurship, which is very cool. And we're in the top 20 in Qatar. So I want to thank you all, wherever you are in the world. In the US, we do really well, and then obviously in Australia. But I want to take that time to really thank everyone that takes the time to listen, because you're not just listening to the show for my benefit. You're inspiring me by listening, but also allows me to showcase people like Adrian, who are amazing in their own very right, and have made a very positive influence in my life. Make sure you visit the show notes, where you'll find all the links and notes from the show, but also make sure that you connect with Adrian Lee. We'll provide his LinkedIn URL in those show notes. And you get to see some amazing content from him that will not only help you, but inspire you. A massive shout out to our team at Growth Outsourced, Growth Link, Business Growth Mindset, the Media Sociale team, and also Argentum Lino, and particularly to Tracy, Bonnie, and Simone, who do put up with me, and Claudette. Everyone knows that you get 2 people like Adrian and Kristian in a room. The conversations are intense. So, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Lee, thank you. Until next time, live with purpose. Are you ready to start taking action on your business? Would you like to spend more time with your family? Then call 1300-643-229 and start building momentum right now. I know you're busy. In fact, you are so busy that you don't have time to work on your business or yourself. Often tossing and turning at night, worrying about the how-tos and the cash flow. How on earth can you possibly get off the hamster wheel so that you can take a helicopter view to see where you'll be in 90 days, 1 year, or 3 years from now? In this program, I will take you from sleepless nights to blissful sleep. You'll have more time with your family, and you will have the clarity and direction so you can grow and flourish. Call 1300-643-229 now and start building momentum.